Hello friends, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. And Dinafash, my Sassenachs, it is time at long last to announce the great Outlander read-along, which will be beginning in 2024. Or, I mean, you could start it now if you want to, and I'm going to get into all the details for this right now. So, I have been wanting to reread Outlander pretty much since I finished my reread of it the last time. If you don't know, some of you have even found me because of my Outlander content. It's something that I've always sprinkled into this channel from the very beginning because Outlander is so close to my heart. Like, it's such an important part of just who I am as a reader at this point. And I have an entire playlist of when I did a reread of all of the books. And at the time I was rereading them, and then I would watch that season of the show, and then I would do kind of like a comparison. So I made ones like that. I would do just the review of the book, and then I would do a video comparing, you know, the pros and cons of each TV series. And by the time we got up to, I think it was season 4 where we at, or 5, I'm not even sure at this point, I started making episode by episode reviews of it. And that's something that I've been doing now ever since, you know, whether they get a lot of attention these days or not. I don't think as many people are watching Outlander or even as interested as then, but I don't care. I love Outlander. Now, the last time I reread the books, I was just doing it for me. Also, my channel was so small. So I still get great feedback on those reviews of the books. Like, I can tell when someone's reading the books themselves because they pop into my videos and will comment on it or want to discuss parts of it with me, because I went very in depth. Like, most of these book reviews are an hour plus long because I really wanted to get into the meat of it. And I want to do that again, but now I want to do it with some friends because I want to discuss the nitty-gritty parts of it. I want to dive into it, like kind of in a way we did with Sarah J. Maas. I want to do with Diana Gabaldon because I think that Diana Gabaldon is just as skilled as laying Easter eggs and layering in things, and then like bits of history, and the way that her characters grow and change over all the years of the story. I am just obsessed. You know, I could, at the drop of a hat, I could go into an hour-long dissertation on Outlander. And I know that some of you have been wanting to read it for the first time, or you want to reread and you don't have anybody to read it with, so we're going to do a book club. I announced this on like a live show, and I've shared it in my Instagram a few times before now. But this is for really real, what we're going to do. It's going to be as casual of a book club / read along as I can make it. I mean, I do still need us to move at a kind of a good pace so that we can get through these. Like, as it is, this will probably go for longer than a year. We are just going to be doing the big books for now. We'll see. Maybe at the end we'll want to slip in something else. We'll see how we're liking it, but I'm not willing to commit to all the side roads right now. That will be completely up to you guys if you want to slip those in as they go. But for me, for what I can take on, for what I commit to, I'm committing to us going through all the 9 big books and how long that takes. So, as I said, I want this to be kind of casual. It's not going to be like the Sarah J. Maas one. Again, if you didn't be a part of that, I'm sorry. But that one was very much more strict to the, like, 1 book per month is what we did, no matter, like, how big the book was, right? Now, for me, when I sit down to read Outlander, I usually block out everything else, and I can read it in a few days. But I know that some people aren't going to be able to plan it that way. You have other lives. This isn't your full-time job. And I want it to be possible for you to be involved in it, even if you have many other things going on. So, as I mentioned when I did like the video and when I've shared about it on my Instagram, I'm only going to set up the live shows one at a time. After we have the first live show, I'm going to look at how busy I am. I'm going to look at how long the next book is and see whether we're going to need a month, 6 weeks, or even 2 months to get through it. You know, I want to see how well people do with the first one, because that's the thing too. Like, usually the easiest book to get through is the first one because everyone's super excited. We're hyped. You're in it, right? I don't want people to fall behind if they don't want to. You know, it's one thing if you read a book and you're like, oh, I want to do this read along, but I'm not into it, whatever. Also, if people need to be able to get it from their libraries, or they need to be able to, you know, have the money to buy it, I want it to be as inclusive as possible. Again, while still having a schedule somewhat. So this announcement video is going to be longer than you expected. This isn't some regimented thing by any means. It's going to be very loose. I'm just giving you my reasoning behind it, because I've been a part of book clubs where I'm not always in the mood for the book at the time, but I still want to be a part of it. So when you have a longer time to read it, it can be good. Sometimes when you have too much time, we still wait until right at the end. So there we go. But the way I want to do this, hopefully there'll be room for everyone, because once we do have a live show and a discussion, that video is still going to exist. So if you aren't able to aren't able to catch it, because I know there'll be people all over the world that do this, which, by the way, I could cry just thinking about it. Stop. I'm not going to do it. There are people all over the world that want to take part. So we're not always going to be able to make it to the live show together. But this video will exist on my channel, and you can watch it later on. If you get behind a little bit, you'll be able to watch it and still discuss. Second part of it, because I know some of us, because I'm not going to have like a page goal every week or anything, because I don't read that way. I couldn't do it. But I know some people having a goal to hit every week will help you get through it. So what I have done, I know not everyone has this platform, so I know it won't be perfect for everyone, but a platform that I have, but I don't take a ton of advantage of it anymore, but I do have it, and people do have access to it, is I have a Discord. I used to talk about my Discord all the time, and it does still exist, and Lord help me, I just don't fully know what to do with it, but in this case, we will use it as a discussion platform. So what I will have the link for the Discord. If you are already a member of a Discord, you'll know what to do. If you're not, if it's totally new to you, it's just a discussion platform. And when you follow my link into it, they'll have you start an account, and then you'll be in my Discord server. And for the different places of discussion, you'll see that I have a section that's just for my channel members, but then I have a recommendation channel, a rule channel, bookish stuff, buddy reads, TV shows, and then the Outlander read-along will be at the bottom. And under the Outlander readathon right now, first, of course, it just says Outlander, and that has the announcement poster, which you'll be able to see. And then I have these things hidden right now because I can hide stuff that I can share later on. But when we get to the end of December, I will open them up. So what I'm planning to do for each book, instead of having like chapter goals, this is all going to be up to you. Diana Gabaldon already so kindly splits her books into parts. Sometimes there's like friggin' 20 of them, but usually there are between like 7 to 15 of them or something in there. And so I will have a different part listed. So that way, if you read a part and you want to discuss something right now, you can go into that part and have a discussion. You can ask a question. You can say, hey, I want to talk about this part of it. And people who've already gotten past part 1, and so it won't be spoilers for them, can go into that part. Since the books are so big, I don't want people to have to wait till they're all the way at the end to talk about it, but I also don't want us to have like page 1 through 100, and here's a spot. You know what I mean? But this way, you will be able to enter in the conversation. I'm trying to find a part, for goodness sakes. Go to the first one. Like there is part 1, and this one says Inverness, 1945. So once you finish part 1 of the book, and maybe you want to discuss what's happening, you can go into the Discord to discuss. Then let's say you finish part 2, which says Castle Leoch, and you're like, oh snap, I want to discuss what Claire thinks of her first look at Jamie. You can go into part 2 to do that. So that's what I will do as for each book as we come up to it, is once we have finished Outlander, I'll create the Dragonfly and Amber one. We'll pick the date for the live show, and then I will list all the different parts, and then you can get started whenever you want, because that you can start commenting on those whenever you want. So I hope that makes sense. I know that I will have some people doing this who that's completely above your head. That's totally fine. So then you don't need to do these discussions. Like I said, this is just for people who want a more interactive like part of this. and you can use Discord. If you don't, if you just want to know, like, okay, we're reading Outlander, this is when the live show is, that's fine. You don't need to be a part of any more of this. But I want there to be the different levels of it for however you want to engage. Because this is a book club. I want you to be able to have a book club experience, even if we can't do that. So, okay, enough of that blabbing. When is the live show, Jen? When are we doing it? So, my plan for the first book is to have our first live show will be February 17th. So, you will have basically almost 7 weeks, I think, to read Outlander. Again, you could get started with it right now, whatever your pace is. Maybe you already have, you already have access to the audiobook from your library, so you want to dive into it. By the way, I do believe that Outlander is still a part of Audible Plus. I will double check that and tell you if it is. And I think they're a part of AnyPlay. Again, I will check that and put it here. So if either of those platforms are something you use, you may have access to the audiobooks for these. So anyway, I think that is mostly what I needed to say. But yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to have, you know, we're going to have plenty of time to get to it. And then once we do that live show, I'll like kind of see if that was too much time or if it was still a good amount. Because that's the thing too. Maybe people don't want it to take this long and more people are like, I wish it was sooner. I will be completely open to that feedback. But again, it will also have to be with like how busy my schedule is, because I don't want to be rushed through it either. So that'll be the plan, is one by one we'll do these books, and you know, hopefully a year from now maybe there'll even be a hint at when the next book is coming. I doubt it. It's going to be many years, I'm sure, but who knows? Maybe we will be, or maybe it'll be getting close to the next season of the show starting or whatever. So yeah, that is the plan. The first live show will be February 17th. Now, another side note, I know that I have a few fellow like YouTubers who are interested in being involved, but even those of you who are participants who don't have a platform but you'd like to be part of the discussion, when it gets closer to this live show, I will also put a sign-up sheet if you want to be on the live chat, because we can have up to 6 people, well, 5 people plus me, and I don't just want to be talking to myself. So when we get up to it, I will put a sign-up sheet probably like a week before, so you can sign up if you want to be a part of that live chat. You'll be able to. I also plan to do kind of like, you know, like the Oprah's book club questions that are at the end of her question books. I'm going to try to do questions like that for us to dive in. Because I've already done reviews of these where I go through step by step the entire book. That's really what I want the discussion zone to be for, is if you want to talk about each part, we'll do that. You know, when I did the SJM along, sometimes those live shows were almost 3 hours because we went through every single detail. And we're not going to be able to do that this time. So I will have some like discussion questions that I'll maybe share ahead of time too. So anyway, this announcement video is plenty long already. The important things to know is if you're interested in being a part of the discussion ongoing, follow the link to my Discord. You'll be able to see the first thing in there. You can go in and say hi and introduce yourself if you want to. Say whether you're reading this for the first time or if it's the 50th time you're reading it. I'm so excited to see that. Otherwise, get a hold of the book and be ready for the discussion on February 17th of 2024. I am so excited for us to do this. I just have the biggest smile on my face and in my heart to reread this series, because it's just my favorite. It's just my favorite. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you'll consider being a part of this, and I hope that I have made it as inclusive and as available to as many of you as I can. Thank you so much, friends, and we'll see you in Scotland. Bye.